Petroleum Authority, it has error, electricity. So we're under energy. But this is nuclear energy. That's the only difference.
The administrative block and also staff apartments. These are the major ones. Then other smaller ones like education centers accommodate staff like football pitch. Those will come later on the next phase.
And now coming to install it, or it can be a different person. Maybe you can buy it from this person here, that person did install it higher. We want the valid ones. So if it is 2026, we want a valid extra.
Informative. Since of checking vertically and horizontally, meaning
we want to take the 2005 energy
will work as for additional benefits. Is that okay? So private, government, this is the arrangement.
Follow all the activities so that you reach a moment and say, but now they ask you like commission. According to the law, the overall responsibility for safety lies with the authorized person, you the owner. So you have to really know how to deal with this person. But put form, because we want to know that the manager. Radiologists, we also want to practice license, evaluate. Then, according
medical collapse is giving us a time. You only tell you in 2 weeks' time. And moreover, private institutions, you know, time matters. It is not that we are government, that even if you don't work, you get paid. Thank you.
I was noticed that you can't give a license after 2 years. Even if it's deteriorating in function, it means I'm being exposed to additions as they go from the 2 years, still a good license. Are there ways you can equip the sector officers, things like close resident has to just make the basic things to make measure the atmosphere where I'm working, instead of waiting for you to discover it later on after effects have been caused? Thank you very much.
In charge of inspection and enforcement at Atomic Energy Council, and I'm glad that I'll be taking up considerations for establishing of medical radiology facilities in Uganda. Before I start my presentation, before I forget, you know, for certain
them, what are they covering and what are you covering? Because we don't want you to apply for this and you said we said or you submit a very new RS.
So we need guidance on equipment disposal in case of breakdown. The hospital is planning to acquire a new one and dispose of the other machine. Second, it's about permission to import a new radiation equipment in the country. Is the fee supposed to be made by the procuring company, let's say Siemens Pacific, or the hospital that is procuring the equipment? Thank you.
This presentation, it will just give the guidance and considerations in planning, construction, and setting up new facilities in the country. Because as we are aware, some of us, you participants, soon or later, you'll be establishing such facilities. So what I'm taking you through, there are some of the things that are expected to be done by you. This is my brief outline.
in a big like on that very thing. And you can't divide yourself very fast to attend to. So sometimes I've encountered it a number of times. And then there are days where the Community Council will tell you, I'm coming, you're coming, and you prepare yourself, maybe you travel, maybe to a far district. And then they notify you later that you're not coming, yet you traveled to a far distance. So those kind of challenges kind of help us. Thank you.
Treatment of cancer.
Yes, Nimbashabira, I work with Atomic Energy Council as a Chief Radiation Protection Officer in charge of regulatory affairs. We are here in Mukono at Korean Hotel to meet our clients, especially the legal persons. Those are the ones who issue the license, and also the radiation safety officers. These are officers who help the legal persons to implement our requirements. The reason why we are meeting them, it's one of our functions to consult and communicate with stakeholders. So once in a while, it's periodically done, we do meet our stakeholders to discuss matters within the sector that we do regulate. In the medical field, Atomic Energy Council regulates medical equipment that emits ionizing radiation. These equipment are used for diagnostic and treatment purposes. But today we are only meeting the people or facilities that use equipment for diagnostic purposes, especially the X-ray machines. In such meeting, we get feedback from them on how our services are running. We also get to know what they expect from us. But the importance of such meeting is always to remind each other of our obligations in this field of radiation safety. Government has its responsibilities, Atomic Energy Council has its responsibilities, and these facilities also have their own responsibilities. So once in a while we need to remind ourselves of these responsibilities. But also in case there are new changes in the regulatory regime, then such is also communicated through such engagements.
Okay, so what is that?
Of course, there are some we wouldn't want to call them challenges sometimes, but they could be ups and downs in this industry. The machine that they use are electronic in nature, and any electronic device can get challenges once in a while. So sometimes when we go to carry out our inspections, we find that some of the machines are not complying with our set standards, and in this case we request them to repair them if they need to be repaired, or to calibrate if they need to be calibrated, because when you are administering dose to a patient, it must be accurate. So when we find that they are not administering accurate doses to patients, then we require them to calibrate the machine so that they can operate within set standards. Now, we need to understand one of the long-term effects that they can cause is also cancer if they are not used well. That's why I talked of accurate doses. The doses must be accurate. Low doses have an effect. High doses also have an effect. The doses must be accurate as prescribed in our standards. So therefore, we take it as a priority to ensure that, one, the people operating these machines are trained. That's one why we have to go for inspections. Also that they have operating procedures, work instructions, the equipment is working well, and also that the premises where these devices are used are adequately scheduled, so that the member to the members of the public that we issue out licenses to these facilities which have radiation generating equipment. If a facility doesn't have a license, it means it has not complied with our requirements, and therefore you should not seek services from them, because we encourage them to display the license from Atomic Energy Council. It is important that when you take your patient or you are seeking services from there, you try to ask or look at that license certificate is still valid. But also for the owners of these facilities, we encourage them to always ensure that their operations are safe for the purposes of the patients, workers, and the members of the public, and of course also to comply with our requirements. I will start with location. These machines can actually be located anywhere, provided that the premises are adequately shielded. We cannot say they should be isolated in the swamp or in the forest. No, we live with them. What is important is to ensure that the premises are adequately shielded, and we have requirements on that. Of course, the technology keeps on changing. The X-ray machines of 1970s and so on, the way they operate is different. So there are new modalities actually for patient safety. For example, there are two common technologies. One where you have to set the parameters automatically. There is another one where the machine looks at you, looks at your size, and selects the parameters itself, so that you are given the dose that is appropriate to your size. So yes, technology is changing, but for the best. I will speak for Atomic Energy Council. On our site, we have enough staff for now who can be able to handle the practices in the country in regard to licensing and inspection, that is regulatory oversight. But when we go to the field, we actually find that sometimes the people who operate these machines are few. You find they are working in 1 or 2, 3 facilities, and of course this causes some gaps. So there is need for stakeholders in this industry, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, to look into this issue of ensuring that we have adequate personnel in the medical field who can be able to manage these radiation generating equipment. But not only operators, but also the doctors. We still have few radiologists in the country. To cover up that gap, some facilities, they have teleservices. They take the radiograph or the image and then they send it online to another person, another facility who is qualified to do the interpretation of these radiographs for them. So that's how for now it's being handled, but it is important to take note that the operators are still few, and when they are few, then it encourages use of unqualified staff. Because if you are in 1 or 2, 3 facilities, the day you are not there, the facility will not stop working. But when we find any facility using unqualified staff, definitely we suspend services. So the way forward is the concerned persons, allied professional council, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, to have interventional measures to cover the staffing gaps or the workforce gaps in the country. To reach the media also is important in holding us accountable, because they are always overseeing the activities that we do undertake. As they do their work, of course, they also have concerns. So in such engagement, we share ideas, we share the experiences, and then we get a uniform way of addressing things. As we use these technologies in Uganda, of course, there can be some consequences, and that's why the council is there to ensure that nothing happens to the population or the person that you use these sources of analyzing radiation in the medical, industrial, agriculture, and education. So one of the effects, if not used well, one of the observable effects, the development of
John, nkolera Atomic Energy Council, the Senior Radiation Protection Officer. Tulina Olukiiko wa workshop eyise abakozesa ebyuma ebivaamu amanyi agayonoona obutonde bw'omuntu. Ebyuma bino omuntu ayinza okwebuuza byuma ki? Tulina ekyuma nga CT, X-ray, ebikuba ebifaananyi omuntu waba afunye obukosefu ku mubiri gwe. Kati ebyuma bino bikozesa amaanyi agatta obutofali obw'omuntu. Tuyise districts 4: Buyikwe, Kayunga, Mukono ne Wakiso. Betuyise ba radiographers oba abakozesa ebyuma bino. Si ba doctor, ne tuyita naye bannannyini malwaliiro gennyini, kubanga bateekesa mu nkola ebyetaagisa. Lwaki tubayise okubannyonnyola ki ekyetaagisa okulaba nga abalwadde, abantu abalala bakozesa ssente, omuntu alinamu akafuba katono bamugamba agenda mu X-ray, naye nga twetaaga nti omuntu aba agenze mu facility oba mu ddwaliro, abeewo omusawo amugamba nti obulwadde buno sooka okozesa enkola ennyanguko nga tebanakuteeka mu kyuma kya X-ray. Kati oyo ye dokita gwe tuyita prescribing doctor oba referring doctor, amulagirire nti kati obulwadde buno nga butuuse, genda mu ddwaliro tukuba ekifaananyi ekyamawuggwe oba ekyekifuba. Kati mu mbeera eyo bwetyo tukubiriza abantu nti si buli woofuna obukosefu bakuba kifaananyi. ekifaananyi bakikube nga kyeteekeddwa okubwa. Ekifaananyi bakikuba ekimu tekikuwonya bulwadde, kizuula buzuuzi ki ekikuluma, kidiagonise nga kitezuula ki obulemu bubaawa. Kati omulwadde bwe baba bakubye ekifaananyi balina okutegeeza kikyogenda okuzzaako. Bw'abanga TB yakuluma tuberculosis bakuwa empeke bakebera amawuggwe engeri gye galimu, naye ekyo ekifaananyi tekigenda kujjanjaba TB okuggyako nga bakozesezza ebyuma ebisingako awo ebisangibwa ebiwonya. Bw'okozesa ekyuma ekitakola bulungi nga ekirina kukola, kitegeeza nti ekifaananyi kigenda okuvaamu si kifaananyi kituufu. Ekyo ekifaananyi kigenda kubanga tebasobola kunnyonnyola bulungi obulabe bwe buva. Ekitegeeza bajja kuddamu okunoonyereza omulundi ogwokubiri, bakuba ekifaananyi ekyokubiri, ekyokusatu. Kati bwe bagenda nga bakuba ekifaananyi, obutafaali buli buyinza okwawukamu, buyinza okufa oba buyinza okwonooneka. Kati mu kwonooneka okwo kwe okulwala kwa kansa oba ku butafaali okubanga bulwadde. Kati mu ngeri eyo nti bwe kiba nga kizze bwe kityo ebifaananyi byo tebivaayo bulungi, kiba kitegeeza bagenda kuddamu okukuba bakujjanjaba enjejanjaba enkyamu. Okukebera okukyamu kugaba enjejanjaba enkyamu. Ab'amalwaliro obutatwala bulamu bw'abantu nga kikuba nti atunuulira kufuna ssente, naye tugamba nti kuba ekifaananyi nga kiteekeddwa okukubwa. Ekyokubiri, bw'okozesa ekyuma ekikyamu togenda kugaba bujjanjabi butuufu. Ekyokusomooza ekyokusatu ekitusanze, amalwaliro agasinga tegalina batendeke batuufu bakozesa byuma bino. Kati ofuna omuntu atali mutuufu ajja kuzuula ekikyamu bakuwe obujjanjabi obukyamu. Ekisomugamba nti bwe tukisanga nga obulabe buyitiridde okusinga ku kivaamu, tulina okuenforcinga okuteekisa amateeka mu nkola. Naye nga bwe tutasobola kubeera ku facilities zino obudde bwonna, tukubiriza abantu abazuula nti ababikozesa si batendeke batutuukirire ku Atomic Energy Council tusangibwa Plot 40 Bukoto Street. Abakozi bwe baba nti baliwo kyetukubiriza nti beera n'abakozi bo oba motivating, naye ng'olina abakozi abasobola okukola ekisoboka. Ekyokubiri, gavumenti etaddewo facilities nnyingi buli district. Buli district mulimu police eba ne general hospital. Kyensuubira nti mu general hospital erina okuba ne x-ray, erina okuba ne radiologist ne radiographer. Kati mu malwaliro gano aga gavumenti gakkubiriza nga tonnaba kugenda mu ddwaliro lyonna, sooka otunuulire eby'omukugu akozesa ekyuma kino, eby'omukugu agenda okwekebejja ekifaananyi kye bakubye, eby'omukugu agenda okuwa obujjanjabi obutuufu. Kyetukubiriza abantu nti tunuulira obukugu bw'omuntu agenda okukuba ekifaananyi.
Amateeka
osanga ng'ogenze mu ddwaliro ne bakukuba ekifaananyi n'okizuula nti akubye ekifaananyi si mutendeke, talina busobozi bukikozesa. Ekyokubiri nti akubye ekifaananyi talina kyuma kituufu kirina kubanga buli district erina district health officer ye muntu asookebwako, alina okutuusa okulaba nga services zikuweebwa zisaanidde obutakuleetako bulabe. Naye singa oba tokikoze, tuukira Atomic Energy Council ku ssimu yaayo eya office 0417101700.
Our main intention is not to spread radiations to the patients, to the workers, to our environment. That's the main thing. They are very strict in it, and I also appreciate it, because without them then we shall be emitting radiations anyhow, and then at the end cancers come in and other kind of conditions. So whenever we are brought to this refresher training, they actually go through the entire thing. What we have to do when we have brought a new machine that has got radiation, or when somebody wants to set an imaging center, what the person has to do, or if you already have an imaging center, how those machines that has got radiations should be kept or should be protection, what kind of protection should be done to the workers, to the environment, to our patients. We are always reminded in that, and that I get really very important. Some of us who are legal personnel, we are not radiographers. We don't know so much about it, but then when we are reminded of our duties, like what we really have to do as a legal person in that imaging center, the duties that we are supposed to do in order to minimize emission of radiation anyhow, we learn from here, and we are always refreshed to remember our duties so that we shall be able even to work with the safety officers well. Because it's like the safety officer is the one who knows everything, and then the legal person. Then sometimes we are not even medical doctors like me, and yet they have to run that because some people do it for business, others really they do it, like as a service for the community. Regardless, whatever it is, the idea is safety. Safe environment, safe personnel working, safe patients. We have to minimize radiations and its complications in future. Yeah, that's it. So pray for those guys. Because you want to run a business that you do not know about it, and yet you are endangering the community. Yeah? So the message I have for them is they should reform from their ways. These are very, very important updating trainings that they have to come and hear how to carry on their businesses which regards imaging or using of X-ray machines. Yeah. So I would advise them to really come, to learn from here and take the information back to the people they are working with. Yes, I'm going to do the same, working with the government. Because being in touch with Atomic Energy Council, which means we are linked to the government regulations of handling these machines. You get it? One of the things that we have to know, we have to note is that when you go for these X-ray machines or these imaging services, you should put in account that you need well-skilled personnel. Like I can give you an example. Our imaging center is a standalone, that is Lamogi Imaging Center, and we have decided that all the radiographers are degree holders. Minimum experience of 3 years and above, yeah? So that even if we do not know much about radiography, at least what they are doing is within. And we are also in touch with the Atomic Energy. They come around to see what they are doing, how they are running the machines,